So, good morning. Hope the day finds you well today. It's a little early in the morning for me. We're here doing a good deed today. Friend that, kind of a friend of an acquaintance of a friend. He lived down in down south Missouri, and for lack of a better word, they bit off a little more than they chewed. They got a new puppy. They got a border collie puppy, and the border collie puppy is pretty active. I'm not sure what they thought they were buying. Anyway, to cut to the chase, it's not what they bargained for, and she's ripping the house apart. They're not happy. Anyway, I have a friend who lives a little further north of me, who has several border collies. He has a farm place, and he farms cattle and crops and sheep. And the border collie puppy would be more than welcome with the rest of the border collies he has, which is good. I'm glad we found a nice home for her. So she's been driving across the country here. She's so spun up that by the time I got her, she's all tuckered out. She's in the back sleeping. I don't want to wake her up. She's all covered up in a little cocoon there. It's a kind of a crummy day out. We're supposed to get a big snowstorm. I'm playing beat the clock here. So, like I said, we're doing a good deed. Little animal shuttle service here today. Kind of one of those relay things. It's amazing they get coordinated at all. And we got a little more snow down here than I got up at home. I got like a dribble of snow. It's like something the donut shop would pass out. It's a big white powdery. It's not even slick. It's kind of weird. You step on it, it just disappears. Down here, they actually got some snow. We're supposed to get a lot, I guess. Well, I don't know what a lot is anymore. A lot for how we've done this year. They act like it's supposed to snow all day on and off. This is kind of interesting because I don't know, kind of a side hobby. I have a lot of hobbies, I guess, or a lot of interests. And one of them is kind of the weather. The weather kind of interests me. Actually, the data gathering part of the weather interests me a lot. Did a very good job of doing it out on the highway. The streets are pretty clear right here in kind of this edge of the universe. They're a little plugged up. I don't know. Keep your wits about you. Stay away from other people. You'll be just fine. Usually the problem with most storms or snowstorms is the other drivers, I find. Like, there's a few people out here. This guy is next to me. Is just bound and determined to pass me. He's been dogging this guy. Here he goes. And it's a little slippery out. Must be late for his wreck. Just oblivious. Man, this car has got the weirdest heating. At low speeds, it seems to really crank out the heat. And then as you speed up, like highway speeds, it drops back. And it's all slippery. Anti-lock brakes are kicking in. What a fun day.
You okay back there, hon?
Talking to a pile of blankets. That's okay. Yep, anybody can step on the gas. Whatever. Actually, I kind of dislike these times of day if you got to be out in them. One of the complaints I have is everybody that's got a snow removal service. Ooh, it's a little slippery right there. This guy thinks, I think he needs to follow me right on my ass. Didn't smart you up one bit, did it? You Jimmy.
You should. It's a little slippery out.
This is probably one of the most dangerous. Man, this car's heater works good. Down here on the highway where they've been clearing it. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. One of my complaints is, can't see doodly out here. I don't know. There they are. I was going to say there's a line down the middle of this somewhere. Okay, one more try. Let's back up. One of my complaints about thank you in town is on days like today, every snow removal service in town appears to be like the white rabbits. They're all late and they're running around and they drive really bad, and those guys seem to think they're indestructible. They got their trailers and their blades and they don't drive too careful. You're just supposed to magically get out of their way. This is actually kind of a dangerous stretch of road. The road's kind of elevated up high. So if you slip off the edge, you go down a long ways. Years ago, I used to have an old Dodge Power Wagon. It was a really old. I got it from the Forestry Service. One of those things where it's open for bids. I got it from it was from the Forestry Service through the Corps of Engineers. It's kind of weird. It was sort of a dare, for lack of a better word. Anyway, I bid a couple $100 on it. This was back in the 70s. I don't know. I didn't have a ton of money at all back then. So a couple $100 is a pretty good swat. And I went and looked at it. It seemed okay. It started and ran, and I didn't think anything of it. Just, yeah, I gave it a couple $100. I left it at that, and then about a week later I got a letter in the mail. They were too lazy to even call. Said, come get your vehicle off our property. Okie dokie. So I went and picked her up, took it home. Actually, I stopped at the car wash and flung the cab open. I washed the interior. There were literally 10,000 sunflower seeds in there. I should say the shells from sunflower seeds. The truck was kind of unusual. It had a huge winch and PTO on the front end. It had these giant 10-ply bias tires, and in the winter it was like being in Fred Flintstone's car. It took an hour for the tires to warm up. So it was pretty lumpy for the first mile or two. Anyway, I used to use that vehicle to drive this stretch of the road. It was a little more notorious back then. People were always falling off. They used to use that vehicle to drag people out of the ditch, charge them. It had a mile of cable on it and a huge tow strap. It was a pretty nice vehicle. It was a weird vehicle too. It had a really low gearbox, and it was geared so low. There was it's kind of hard to describe. There was a sort of like an old lawnmower throttle control with a coiled cable. There was a pendant. You could actually run the throttle if you screwed this thing onto the dash. So I don't know if it was something somebody rigged up or something Dodge had or what the deal was. Anyway, it was geared so low you could stand on the side of the thing and walk with it and run the throttle. So I used to go fishing for cars years and years ago. Or trucks too. We're pulling a couple pretty good sized trucks out of the ditch with that thing. That thing would crawl ball. Those tires, it was 4-wheel drive. I can't remember. It's been so long ago. I can't remember. I think that engine was a straight 6, and it had an oil bath air filter on it. It's kind of cool. I should have never sold it. Those things, for some reason you just decide you don't want something anymore because you don't care about it. Had a really crummy heater in it too. It's kind of like a match trying to heat a giant tin box. Another complaint about this car. It fogs up really easy. It's kind of like playing chess when you go out for a drive on a cold day. You're fiddling with the controls, and then a few minutes later, you got another move to fiddle with the controls some more. Need my friend over by my mom's house. Pick up the old pup here. Get her on her way. So we're trying to play beat the clock for this snowstorm moves in. Buy a puppy, you better look into what it is real hard. I'm not sure why you would have a small house with no yard and buy a border collie puppy. You might as well have bought a Tasmanian devil. Not that they're a bad dog, they're just real active. They want to play and they want to do stuff. That's why I always kind of like going to the animal shelter. Not that this isn't an advertisement for the animal shelter, but if you're going to go, get an idea what you're going to get a hold of. Everyone wants something that's cute and little, and then when it grows up to be a 20-ton monster, then they don't want it anymore, which is kind of sad. Back to the weather data hobby. I was looking at the weather today a little bit. I was kind of disappointed in the weather satellite side I look at. It's slow and kind of tired looking. Just wondering what it would take to receive my own weather data. One time that actually those weather satellites were a on the edge of the FM band a little bit. Well, not sort of ish. There's the FM radio band, which is what, 88 megahertz to 108, 109. And past 109 is something. I think to 120 is megahertz is. I believe that's aeronautical band. Remember right? Further down the road, I thought those weather satellites were like 138, 137, around in there. All this goop on the roads, and then the cars get it into the air. Can't see anything. Got a death wish. Always wonder what's going to happen if something really bad happens to the universe and our cheese slides off our cracker. People get a thing for a living. I never noticed that. That ambulance, I think, has a taxi tag on it. That's kind of ornery. Looks like it. I think. Can't tell. Looks like it's got some special plate. Anything to make a buck for the city. Some kind of an antenna. Those satellites, I think, are called polar orbits. They aren't geosynchronous. They aren't stationary from appearance to the ground. Like, I don't know, TV satellites that relay TV data, or what they call geosynchronous. They're far enough out, they appear to not move. Even though they actually do scooch around quite a bit. These have polar orbits. The weather satellites, I believe, have polar orbits, but they orbit from north to south, around and around. That's how they can cover all the ground. That whole deal's got to be pretty complicated. All this junk flying around in the sky. It's nice out here. Back roads, minding my own business. So I might need some kind of a tracking system to track the satellite as it shoots by. That might provide some interesting mechanical problems. Tailgating the heck out of me is why. Freaking goofball. What's your damn problem? Other than you're stupid as a damn rock. Well, there's part of the problem. Shoots up because the gas stations think they can take advantage of people. That's something that kind of is interesting to me. You know, that's something that I would be maybe a proponent to, is the government regulating gasoline. I tell you what, the price of that, if you don't have a gas station with one of those electronic gas marquees, I bet your employees are plenty angry. The price fluctuates daily. I've even seen it move around within an hour or two. I'll go somewhere and see it. You know, let's just for convenience say it's $3. Go somewhere, do a couple things, come back home, and it'll move 2 or 3 cents. I'll go back out and come back in an hour or two. It'll move another cent or two. It's, what the heck, guys? Just pick a spot and stick with it. Sorry. Really early in the morning. So, what are their doodads? I have to figure out an antenna for my satellite data thing. That might be interesting. What I'm going to do for a receiver. Got a couple ideas. I did a little tiny research, like about 5 minutes worth of research on the internet. I was thinking about this. One of my ideas got shot down on flames. Man, lady, that is not smart. I was thinking you could use an old, I don't know, scanner, an old police scanner. Might be a good receiver. It's agile. You can move it around and retune it easily. Maybe not so much. The bandwidth might be too narrow on it to receive the data properly. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm kind of curious about these. I've seen more and more of these, what they call software-defined radios. I thought the government put the zap on those somehow, but maybe not. don't know, the few I've seen aren't terribly expensive. I'm kind of curious how they control those. I guess I need to sit down and look at them. I have seen a few kits, although I think all it consists of is soldering some surface mount stuff to a circuit board, plugging it in your PC. It may not be terribly fun. Shut up, huh? Sneaks. You can own a store without a television in it, especially a restaurant. I don't think you can have it. A restaurant without a handful of TVs. I don't know. Anyway, back to the receiver. So, I was a little curious about the receiver for that. I wonder what it might take. I suppose I could cobble something together. It's not too far away from the 2-meter ham band. I don't know, just a thought. Interesting thought. Be a lot of, I don't know, not problems, but yeah, I guess there might be a lot of problems to overcome. You gotta get an antenna that works. You may have to invent some sort of computer or some sort of tracking system. You have to keep track of the satellites somehow. There's probably programs on the internet that tell you when they fly by. You're gonna have to get receiver that works and probably is retunable. And then you're gonna have to get the data into your computer and get it decoded. I don't know, sounds like it might be easier just to let the government decode the data. Is just, I guess a dusting, I guess is what it is. Pretty microscopic. Roads seem pretty dry over here. Pretty wet down south. Something I never paid attention to as a kid or a young person is the direction of things. Nowadays I kind of pay attention to which way I'm going more. Actually, it has its advantages. So a little research to find out what I got to do to receive weather data. Well, it's actually weather pictures, satellite imagery, I guess is the correct term. I guess is now over there on the other side of town, maybe not even a mile away. It was 309. It's 295 here. That's interesting. Yep. Very interesting. And we'll probably have a snow day for the children just because they seem to not be built of sturdier stuff nowadays. I remember getting some snow days off when I was a kid, but it was only because polar bears wouldn't go outside. It really was. We had some nasty storms when I was a kid. Now, it may be because I was, when you're younger, you're not as tall as you are when you're an adult, so maybe the snow looks deeper. Actually, it seems like they get more days off in the summer. We have to have school earlier in the summer nowadays. Because it's too hot for the children. What's your malfunction? Freaking dork. God, people there driving is just pathetic. He's tailgating the next car. Yeah, if you want to go by, maybe you should get the other lane. No. He's still tailgating that guy. I don't even see him way up there. You wonder why people get out in traffic and attack people. They just get sick of it. Yeah, we'll just drift over in this lane because I thought there was some construction up here. And there's a squadron of cars. Ooh, a big skunk. Whoa, baby. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Shut the air vents down. Oh, wow. Oh, you need smell-o-vision here. Okay. God, it's still pretty stinky. Watch this corner. I about drove through that no U-turn sign a couple years ago. I went to stop, and the truck pretty much just sped right up. Luckily, actually, if I remember right, luckily somebody already plowed that sign down. There we go. Stuff like today always makes me wonder about things. Like I'm looking out here and there's a crap load of lights on. I wonder how much electricity that needs to run that, man. What do you want to bet I get to this intersection and it turns yellow? Oh, looks like I might make it. That's amazing. This intersection usually gets me. Looks like the school buses are out moving around. Well, my mom's doing better. She's kind of hopping around more. Getting to be a few weeks into her leg getting bolted back together. Really complaining about not being able to walk on that leg. Gas is 309 over here, which is another couple miles away. Close to getting home, at least for me. So pass the puppy off to the next, to her new owner. Plenty of room to run around, plenty of room to herd things, plenty of room to play with the other dogs. I think he's got 3 or 4 other border collies. He's kind of got it. He's actually got a plan there, kind of as bizarre as that sounds. I didn't know you had to have a plan for dogs. I think he kind of gets a new dog every, I thought he told me every 5 years, 3 years. I'm not sure how long dogs live. I remember reading they live as long as the size they are. I think the bigger dogs live a shorter life, which is kind of weird. I thought the smaller animals lived a shorter life. What is this guy doing? It's even slick out, buddy. And there's absolutely. I don't think it even snowed over here. Oh, tiny bit, tiny. No, there's no. It's like a frost. Okay. Anyway, I thought he told me they got a new dog every 3 or 4 years was the plan. That way they kind of. He wanted to have 3 to 4 dogs. I think his oldest dog is starting to kind of show her age a little bit. What did he tell me her name was? Jasmine, I think. Anyway, I think she's just kind of wearing out, unfortunately. It's that one of those things, the bulb that burns twice as bright, burns half as long. Those dogs they don't lead a hard life, they just lead a really super active life. They just chews them up. They're constantly on the go. Go up there. I've been up there, I don't know, a number of times, and God, they just want to play and do stuff. It's like a swarm of locusts. They want to play and be petted, and they want to eat something, and it's you, and it's funny. He went out of town one time on a little family vacation. And I had business up that way, so I offered to take care of the dogs for a couple of days. God. They are an active bunch. Boy, do they want to play. They want to play, throw the rope or stick or ball. And they want to play non-stop. Well, tell you what, I'm gonna shut you off here. Thanks for driving along with me today. Hope you had fun. Not here yet. We'll have the passing of the guard here. Take her easy.